Welcome to Chasing Curiosity TV. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. Tonight, breaking news shakes the very foundation of America's immigration system, sending shockwaves through communities across the nation. Borders are under unprecedented pressure, and Washington is locked in a heated debate over the future of national security and the soul of the country. Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle are demanding stricter controls, citing new intelligence that's rattled Homeland Security and raised urgent questions about who is allowed to enter the United States. The issue has moved far beyond policy discussions. It's now an urgent national concern, touching the lives of millions and sparking anxiety in households everywhere. The White House is considering unprecedented action, weighing options that could reshape the landscape of immigration for years, if not decades, to come. Sources confirm a sweeping review of the Green Card program is underway, with a focus on countries now deemed high risk by security officials. The term high risk is causing alarm not only in diplomatic circles, but also among immigrant communities who fear for their futures and the fate of loved ones. Decisions are being made behind closed doors, with major announcements expected soon that could impact thousands of lives overnight. At the core of this crisis, how does America verify who it lets in, while staying true to its values as a nation built by immigrants seeking hope and opportunity? Officials face mounting challenges, from sophisticated fraudulent documents to unreliable background checks in unstable nations, making the process more complex than ever. The administration insists its highest duty is to protect Americans, even if it means making tough, sometimes controversial choices that could change the country's direction. The world is watching closely, as allies and adversaries alike wait to see how the U.S. will respond to this defining moment. For families who've waited years, this isn't just a headline, it's a potential earthquake, threatening to upend dreams and separate loved ones. Tonight we'll examine which countries are at risk, the reasons behind these decisions, and hear directly from those whose lives hang in the balance. What does this mean for the future of the American dream and for the millions who still see the U.S. as a beacon of hope? Stay with us as we unpack this critical development, bringing you the latest updates and in-depth analysis on a story that could define a generation. The U.S. Green Card is more than plastic. It's a symbol of hope and a key to a new life. For millions, it's the reward for years of waiting, saving, and dreaming. It means stability, opportunity, and the freedom to build a future in America. Green Card holders can live and work anywhere in the U.S., protected under the law. It's the crucial step towards citizenship and a foundation for new beginnings. The process is already long and grueling. Mountains of paperwork, background checks, and interviews. Families invest life savings, navigating a confusing bureaucracy, all while in limbo. Now imagine the rules changing just as you reach the finish line. Thousands from 7 nations face the reality that their journey could be invalidated overnight. The Green Card, once a lifeline, is now a source of fear. The system they trusted threatens to leave them adrift in uncertainty. For many, the American dream is slipping away. As of August 9, 2025, 7 Asian countries have found themselves on a U.S. high alert watch list, drawing global attention and concern. Sri Lanka, Syria, South Korea, Pakistan, Nepal, Iran, and the UAE are now at risk of facing a sweeping Green Card ban, a move that could reshape the lives of thousands. Each of these nations presents its own unique set of challenges, but all have been flagged as potential risks to U.S. immigration security, according to officials. This isn't about prejudice or politics. U.S. authorities point to data-driven concerns such as rising document fraud, widespread corruption, and unreliable security checks that make thorough vetting difficult. When the vetting process breaks down, the U.S. government argues it has no choice but to pause the system, even if only temporarily, to protect national security. The potential ban could freeze both new and existing Green Card applications, leaving thousands of hopeful immigrants and their families in a state of limbo, unsure of what comes next. Imagine the Pakistani doctor who's been offered a job in a U.S. hospital, the South Korean tech entrepreneur ready to launch a startup, or the Sri Lankan family who sold everything for a new beginning, each story now put on hold. Their lives, carefully built around the promise of a Green Card and a brighter future, could be upended overnight, dreams slipping away with a single policy change. The impact of this decision goes far beyond numbers and statistics. It's a powerful diplomatic statement, and for many, a deep loss of trust in the system. It signals serious concerns about a country's stability, its cooperation with international security standards, and its willingness to address these issues. For these 7 nations, the stakes are enormous. Families are left waiting, careers are put on hold, and futures are clouded with uncertainty. The American dream, once a beacon of hope for so many, is now hanging by a thread for those caught in this crisis. As we look closer, we'll uncover a complex web of issues, political, social, and economic, that have brought these nations to this critical point. The path forward is uncertain, filled with difficult choices and no easy answers. For many, hope is fading. The world is watching, waiting to see what happens next. In Sri Lanka, the economic collapse has fueled not only desperation, but also a surge in fraud, as families struggle to find a way out of hardship and uncertainty. U.S. officials now report a dramatic increase in fake documents, everything from birth certificates and financial records to professional credentials, making it harder than ever to distinguish truth from deception. The overwhelmed Sri Lankan government, already stretched thin by the crisis, simply can't keep up with the scale of this fraud, leaving the process of verification nearly impossible and the system vulnerable. Honest applicants who have followed every rule now risk being penalized for the actions of others, caught in a web of suspicion and doubt. The U.S. says it can no longer reliably separate legitimate cases from fraudulent ones, leading to a deepening crisis of trust between nations and within communities. For many, the dream of escaping hardship and building a better life abroad is now threatened by the chaos and uncertainty at home. In Nepal, the situation is equally dire. Weak institutions and a surge in human trafficking have become the main issues, leaving vulnerable people at the mercy of criminal networks. These criminal organizations exploit the U.S. immigration system, fabricating fake family ties and job offers, and preying on those desperate for a new start. The problem has become so widespread that officials now question the authenticity of almost any document coming from certain regions, casting doubt on even the most genuine cases. Nepal's government struggles to dismantle these trafficking rings, and as the crisis grows, the U.S. is forced to consider drastic measures that could impact thousands. Innocent people, families, students, and workers are caught in the crossfire, punished for a corruption they neither caused nor benefited from. A potential ban would close a vital escape route for those seeking safety, opportunity, and stability, leaving many with nowhere to turn. The actions of a few threaten the hopes and futures of many, as entire communities watch their dreams slip away. For both Sri Lanka and Nepal, the American dream, a symbol of hope and possibility, is slipping further out of reach with each passing day. The weaknesses in the system have become a burden shared by everyone, regardless of their intentions or backgrounds. The stakes couldn't be higher, as the fate of thousands now hangs in the balance. Syria's decade of war has destroyed records and government infrastructure. U.S. officials can't verify identities or conduct background checks in a country with no central authority. The risk terrorist operatives could exploit the chaos to enter the U.S. with fake identities. Millions of Syrians, doctors, teachers, engineers, are refugees hoping for a lifeline. For them, a green card is rescue from endless uncertainty. A ban would mean the conflict that ruined their lives also blocks their escape. The U.S. faces a moral dilemma: security versus humanitarian need. Iran's challenge is diplomatic: no formal U.S. relations, no embassies. All processing happens in third countries, making verification difficult. U.S. officials can't easily check employment or education histories. Ordinary Iranians, many opposed to their regime, are caught in the crossfire. Scientists, artists, and students seeking freedom are trapped by politics. A ban would punish those who want to contribute to America. It closes off hope for those seeking a new start. For both Syria and Iran, the consequences are deeply personal. The door to America is closing for many who need it most. Pakistan's main issue is national security. Regions with extremist groups make vetting difficult. Rigorous checks create backlogs and delays, burdening legitimate applicants. A ban would penalize many for the actions of a few, severing a vital link to the U.S. South Korea, a U.S. ally, faces scrutiny for high visa overstays and investment fraud. Many enter on temporary visas and never leave. Others use fake businesses to get green cards. This undermines the system and frustrates law-abiding applicants. Even allies aren't exempt from tough scrutiny. For many, their future now depends on problems they didn't create. The UAE is on the list for a different reason: its status as a global business hub. With a population of expatriates, verifying applicants' backgrounds is complex. The UAE can be a transit point for those seeking to obscure their histories. U.S. officials worry about third-country fraud and must vet applications deeply. This strains consular resources and delays legitimate cases. Professionals and families in the UAE now face extreme scrutiny. Their dreams are complicated by the very international nature of their home. The future for many is uncertain, caught between global mobility and security concerns. Behind the headlines, this is a story about people. Families separated for years, waiting to reunite in America, now face indefinite delays. Professionals recruited by U.S. companies, engineers, nurses have made plans only to see them threatened. A sudden ban would shatter personal dreams and harm American businesses relying on their skills. Children hoping for a better education and safer future may see those dreams erased. For many, this isn't just a delay, it's the end of a dream. Each application is a story of hope and sacrifice. When the system pauses, these stories are interrupted. Security and fraud debates matter, but so do the human consequences. Tonight, the American dream feels more fragile than ever. Thousands of families are caught in a geopolitical storm. All they can do is wait, and hope their future isn't decided for them. The stakes are deeply personal. We've seen how global crises, war, collapse, corruption, have brought the U.S. to a crossroads. Suspending green cards for 7 nations is a stark reminder of the balance between security and hope. The administration argues a pause is needed to strengthen vetting, but policy isn't written in a vacuum, it's written on people's lives. For many, a ban is a devastating blow after years of following the rules. Their dreams are collateral in a larger geopolitical game. As the clock ticks, thousands wait in anxiety. In a world seeking refuge and opportunity, who gets a second chance?